Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to the EagleEye Sprint Review for Sprint 98 and also the Sprint Planning for Sprint 99. Let's jump into it and we'll show you what we've been working on. Okay, so off the bat, we had two sprint goals. One of them complete, the other one partially complete. So the top one, partial, was ship the GitHub daily scan feature and also the GitHub app for production. So this is allowing GitHub to follow our standard sort of daily scan process that we do on emails. And then also the GitHub app is to actually connect the EagleEye instance to your GitHub organization. So we've got partial against it because the work's been done. We've done a fair bit of testing, but there's still a little bit to be reviewed. The next one there was to move public ACR token endpoint out of EagleEye API. So I might actually defer to the devs for this one if someone wants to explain.
We can explain this one during the PBI item, or do you want me to explain now?
If you just quickly explain now, and we can.
Yeah, so we have one public endpoint tied to whole EagleEye backend, and customers were also getting that endpoint. So this was a refactor work to get that endpoint out of that EagleEye backend and have its own separate project and deploy to separate container app.
Awesome. So, Park, will you also be showing the first one at all during the sprint review?
This one?
That one.
Yeah, both okay. We can show. We have demos for both of them, like screenshots and yeah.
Cool.
All right, Toby.
Alrighty. Scrolling on down, so as we can see, we've switched back to the 2-week duration of the sprints, since both Luke and Hark are just doing 3 days on the project a week each. All right, timesheet data. That reflects pretty much what I've just said there between the two of them. Moving ahead, what was done? Okay, so the PBIs themselves. Yeah, Hark, if you want to touch on this one with a little bit more detail, if you got the.
Yeah, so the first one, it was our sprint goal as well, to moving out public endpoint. And if you go here, if you see on the GitHub issue, you will see these were the done items. And now we have public endpoint with just one endpoint /API/ACR/credentials. And I have also refactored the Azure Container app to reduce the cost. So now the container app is at these settings, 0.25 CPU and 0.5 gigahertz of storage. And then I also fixed a couple of other items I found in this PR. Any questions? No. Then moving to the next item is GitHub Daily Scan, which Luke finished. I can show you the demo. So this is our EagleEye. So you can see now on EagleEye portal, schedule scans. We have all scans, and in all scans we can see GitHub and email. So every day we get both of the scans, and these are running in parallel. So Luke, you can jump in the details.
I might just on the UX, just a small thing, Hark. Yeah, I don't like the red on email. I know you're doing that for a color scheme, but I think that's a bad idea because red can look like an error. So I would just I would probably make it like, grayish and like maybe a blue icon on Outlook column on the email.
Can I check? Is it email in general or is it actually Outlook? Like if you had Gmail as your email inbox you were using, would it be different?
It's Outlook only.
It's Outlook. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it should be like Outlook and be blue colored.
I think
that's funny. It used to be blue, and then my comment was, "No, this is going to want to be changed to match SSW coloring." No, completely
it was
fair.
Blue.
Yeah. The icon for Outlook, I think, is blue and white. I can't remember, but something like that.
Like a light blue.
Yeah. And then you would know it's that. The other thing, just on the status column, I would have the succeeded in white, just the word, but keep the other green thing on the left.
Yeah.
We are using SSW design system for this one. So we are just using whatever SSW design system has, but we can change this one as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Luke, anything else you want to add?
Yeah. So on this screen you can see. So here's the daily scan, right? One daily scan we have like two, like email and GitHub, and you will see the last column process. So this means the number of like emails processed and number of like issues processed. Yeah.
And on that, Luke, when you're looking at processed, you're looking at the time taken processed, and you can see they're a long way from each other. I think duration and process should be next to each other.
Duration and process. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask for Claude. Claude, hey Claude, can you make a PBI for this one to put duration and processed right next to each other? And in that PBI, we can also change succeeded text to the status text to white and email label to blue.
Have you switched from Yakshaver to Claude?
No, I usually prefer Yakshaver, but when we are already recording a meeting, Claude can process the transcript.
Okay, does that make sense to you, Colin?
It does. You shouldn't need to say, hey, Claude, do this and that. You should be able to just have a natural conversation, though, and it should pick up the things, hopefully. I mean,
I don't mind you being explicit, but I did find it strange it wasn't Yakshaver.
Yeah, but you should have to remember to do it.
We can just say, hey, Yakshaver. He's going to still process.
I think Callum's saying, okay, we will add a new feature to do X, Y, Z.
And then it should happen.
Yeah.
When you say that,
Yeah, that's much better. Any questions for this screen? And before I move ahead?
Well, I'm trying to get a good handle on how long the GitHub scans have been running and how successful they are. Can't see. If there were errors, would there be a column showing errors?
Yes, status wouldn't be succeeded.
I think you cannot see the details yet. Yeah, we are not adding any error details to this page. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
on manual scan, there's a details page. You can see the error. Yeah.
On the manual scans. Oh.
Yeah, if you click, for example, this field. Yeah.
Yes. Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh well, this is looking good to me.
All right, and you can also filter out by GitHub, and you can also filter by email.
Nice. Okay.
And one thing I think I should mention, so you can see on weekends, only one issue was processed because this is incremental scan on GitHub. So any issue that was changed, that will only be processed, not all the issues. It will not rescan all the issues.
Right. Okay. I do find it funny to see Monday and then realize that's weekend. It's just feels funny to me. And it feels funny that they both start at the exact same moment. You would think that you would do emails and then you would do GitHub straight after. Like it seems funny they're running concurrently to me.
Because we don't want to have dependency on each other. If one fails, we don't want the other one to fail.
Yeah, it's running parallel.
I get that, but I think that you don't want to put an unnecessary load. Load issues cause problems. So it feels like you would run them sequentially.
You'd hope the system wouldn't fall over from two things happening in parallel, though, right?
But they're pretty intensive to scan.
Scan one issue.
Yeah, like all sorts of network traffic. I think I'll be surprised if we keep it like this forever.
Yeah, I think this is just like a 1 day, and if we add like a manual, we can actually test this out. If we run a 1 year to see if it can fail or not. Yeah, and then we can improve this.
All right.
All right, moving ahead. So this was GitHub Daily Scan. Now GitHub app for production. It is done. It is in review. I can show you the demo, how GitHub app for production works. So you can see this is the PBI. And let me give you the context what this demo is about. So currently we are using GitHub personal access token for SSW instance, but now the better way to do GitHub auth for this is via GitHub app, and I've been working on integrating GitHub app into EagleEye instance, and then any customer can install the app, and then their GitHub organization will be connected to EagleEye, and then EagleEye can perform analysis. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So the demo I'm going to show you is going to show complete end-to-end how customer will be able to set up GitHub app. And let me do speed slow. So play. And you can see this is the settings. It will show that GitHub is not connected. You can paste the GitHub URL of the organization. I'm using example of Hark Northwind. It has 6 repositories. You can see here. And then I can just copy the URL of the organization, and I can paste the URL to check if the URL is correct. And then I can click on connect GitHub. It will redirect me to this create GitHub app. Users can give the name. I'm going to keep it to default. And then you can see it is asking me to verify my identity and then install the GitHub app into Hark Northwind. I can choose the repository, and these are the permissions: issues, members, and metadata currently. And then user hit install, and that's it. Once that is done, user can run the scan, and once they run the scan, go to GitHub issues, and you will see if I refresh, and the scans are visible now with all of the Northwind repos. So it's very easy, just some clicks, and that's it. And this app is owned by the user in their repository, in their organization, so they have fine control over this app, and no data ever leaves from their GitHub org or from their Azure environment. Any questions? No. All right. Moving ahead, and then we have one bug. Toby?
Yeah, sorry. Yep, I can take back over. So we have a bug here, which is just in review now. So you may remember last week there was one flagged about the Zendesk tickets, and it put Chris's name against it. It was mainly to do with sort of like group emails and who it tied against. So we're working through that to actually be able to break it down and have a bit better visual of who the emails are actually going to, or who's addressing these index tickets. And then finally, we had the playwright. However, we didn't get around to that one this spring. Any questions for those? No? Okay, I'll pass back over.
All right, so this is monthly burn up. Last Friday, you will see open issues at 221 and completed 6. Then moving to code coverage. So we have deployment more than 7 days ago, and on GitHub, the default code coverage time is 7 days, and so it expired. We're gonna fix this, and then we can have longer code coverage report. And then production deployments, we have 2 deployments for each PBI got completed when we merged to main. So we have 2 product deployment, 0 docs deployment, and 0 reports deployment. And then these are the GitHub scans we saw for last 5, GitHub and email scans we saw for last 5 days. Report views for last 1 month. You can see Josh, Tiago, and Stefan, top 3 users of EagleEye report view. I think Josh was doing some investigation work. See how EagleEye Power BI report is. So maybe that reflects that. Any questions?
No, it looks good.
And then product roadmap, GitHub integration. We have 1 done and 1 in review. And for canary testing. Canary testing is complete now. Isaac has done commented his findings, and now we're gonna combine all those findings and make PBIs. If we
How long until the GitHub integration stuff you consider is done?
Luke and I are gonna split. So
for GitHub integration, we still have, you can see in the progress, we have 33. There's still a bunch of PBI, like a manual scan and also other stuff. I need to have a look at it.
The scan is working, so can we release to all SSW users and ask for feedback on the new GitHub reports?
The only thing on the report, we will have a placeholder for tags. Our most important feature, tags, is not working.
Analysis of
they
not
can
working.
just saw some like stats on the GitHub.
Okay.
That's not like AR feature.
We maybe you should show us the reports, but can we see who is who's using GitHub the most, or can we can't see who's doing the most check buys?
No, we cannot, but we can see who is doing most like an open issue and a closed issue. That's our report now.
So that's after you'll see our sprint planning for the next one. There's one more task in setting up the manual scan process. So then we've got all of the setup, all of the automatic scanning going, and then it's full steam ahead with the actual rules engine and applying that logic. So I think it would make most sense to wait until after that, considering we don't really have like a formal beta process, right? Like, because the whole system's in beta. At least past that point, it's a little bit more stable, and we can start to push it out to all the tenants.
All right. I see record number 4, Michael Q. He has updated his LinkedIn name since then. And I think he updated his GitHub name about 2 weeks ago. How come it's not reflected there?
I think the reason is so we did one scan and save all the users, and maybe it's checked by some GitHub ID and it never updates the name. But it should be updated. Compared to
how are you going to pick up when people make changes to their name or other changes in other parts of GitHub?
Maybe we can do daily scan for that as well as part of daily scan. Any user updation, like any name or details.
I think you could make it so that if you detect a change in users, you just rescan all users, but never do it unless if you don't get a change.
Do they need to do a scan to know you've got a change?
I'm not sure whether they have a last updated or anything.
Right. Does that apply to users for emails as well? Like if you changed your name in Active Directory, do we update that for the email reports too?
I'm not sure. We're currently just looking for issues. Issues have like updates, like if you have a comment or like updates.
I think what Callum is saying is when you have this problem, which we've never tried to solve, and you try to solve on GitHub, can you also look on emails just to try to keep them somewhat consistent?
Okay.
Okay. Now, can you just change that 1 month at the top to say 3 months at the top? Okay, so now I'm seeing the right data. If I copy this URL and ping it to someone and say, hey, look, Yakshav's at the top of the leaderboard after 3 months, they're not going to see that, are they?
No.
Why is that?
Month filter is not in the URL.
Yes, the query string is wrong, so you've got to fix that as well.
Maybe as long as like a repo and open or close.
Say again, Luke.
So if you want to I filter on like closed issue, right? And 3 months, and also select the specific issue.
All parameters should be in the URL.
Query.
All filters.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
All right, great.
And moving back, so these were our roadmap items. And R&D work. I did a bit of market research on how other software products uses GitHub app creation and installation, and how they do self-hosted ones as well, because EagleEye is a self-hosted product, so the GitHub apps needs to be lived in customer's instance. So yeah, that was R&D work. Any questions? No. All right, moving ahead. AI usage. Both me and Luke are using Opus and not Fable yet. I want to save my tokens. And we are not hitting limits.
Just on that, when you showed us the backlog, we couldn't see which ones were AI PBIs, like which PBIs completely got done with AI without any of your coding skills.
No one. They all need
Not
coding
one.
skills and architecture decisions, and yeah, these are complete end-to-end work. Like
yes,
even
I
this one.
understand for the big ones, but surely there's lots of little UI ones where you are automatically completing them. If not, if there are none, you're probably the only team now that aren't doing some automated AI PBIs.
I think the UI ones Luke did as part of this one. Is that right, Luke?
Okay, but the UX one should be separate, I think.
Yeah, they can be separate out and assigned, done by AI and have separate items. That's correct.
Okay, let's try to do that in the future.
Okay. And now Luke will show us SSW Tiger stats.
Yeah, I will share the screen, and I will just highlight a few points I think is important. And the first one in the insights is PR size is like a very large, in the sprint. And several reasons is we have some auto-generated migration files and some like chassis and components files. Yeah, but what we can do is actually maybe if PI is actually too large, we can maybe ask AI to see if we can split tasks, to see, And next thing is I want to highlight is part-time. So how can I both doing like 3 days a week? And one last thing is the manual scan. So manual scan is not started. So if a customer is connected to GitHub, they will wait for 1 day to get the GitHub data. So in next sprint, we are going to implement the manual scan. So customer can have like historical data on GitHub. I think that's all. Okay, you can take over.
All right. And so thanks, Luke, for Tiger stats. Let's look at Copilot stats. And Copilot stats, I was running the meeting, so I'm the top speaker, then Toby, and then Luke. And we asked Copilot what was the main item completed. It says GitHub daily scan, which is correct. Now let's do sprint retro. So what went well? Toby loved the new scanning UI, and also how the GitHub registration flow works end to end. And Luke said the investigation for GitHub app and Spike both went well. We did ADR and also asked our beloved solution architect, Mr. Callum, to review the GitHub app, and it all went well. And I mentioned SSW design system is really good. Now I don't have to think about UI decisions. I can just use SSW design system and then use its skill and put into Cloud Code and it do the UI stuff. So it's really good. And then I also mentioned Luke and I did a bit of a refinement for next couple of GitHub PBIs. So backlog is looking good. What didn't go well, like Luke mentioned in Claude Tiger stats, PR sizes were too big to review because these are complete end-to-end features. But most of them were like generated code as well, migrations and shared CN components. And then Toby mentioned, if you remember last week, our last sprint meeting, Yuli was interested in EagleEye Azure resource costing. So we have sent email to sysadmins, but weren't able to follow up. And that's our improvement for next sprint, that follow up with sysadmins on the monthly Azure resource costing. And then also aim for more scoped work. Like we mentioned, we can use AI to split out the tasks for smaller PBIs.
Right. So who can you give me an example of something in the PRs that is causing it to be large and how you would make them smaller?
Yes, let me show you. So this is
which I assume means that you would also have more PBIs in the backlog, right?
Sorry, I didn't understand the last.
I think you only had 4 or 5 PBIs on the backlog. If you follow this system that Toby's recommending, there'll be more PBIs, right?
Yeah, if we break down the PBIs into smaller units, I guess the PR sizes will be smaller, but the backlog will be bigger. But same amount of work, just more points of reference.
Yeah, more duns in that sprint.
And is this for both you and Luke, or is just Luke the offender?
Both me and Luke. I reviewed Luke's PR. It was big, and you can see, even though it says these many big file changes, 3,000, and then I did Claude review. I asked Claude to what are actually the items, and it says like plus 1,500 are just EF migration and test 570, and this is handwritten production code, which is 1,400 lines. So you can see. And also there is a GitHub action workflow, I think, which also tells this one PR matrix, which also tells produced code. This is different than, I think it doesn't regenerate again if we have a couple of.
I will also tell you, Hark, that by reducing the size of the PRs, you will reduce your stress. Most people do not enjoy accepting a pull request that's a monster.
Yeah. Then when Luke sent me the PR to review, I said, what? This big PR to review? And then I asked AI, I'm using a skill which gives nice UI to review the PRs. And also I asked, can you guide me in which order I should look the file so that I understand this massive. So AI guided me, okay, look at this file first, look at the domain layer and then application layer like this to understand the code changes. All right, so this was our sprint retro. Let's move to forecast.
Alrighty, I can take over. Thanks, Hark. So again, this is forecast for sprint 99. It will be another 2-week sprint. We have the 2 goals just to get these this GitHub app pushed through to production, so we're able to connect to it a bit easier. It's just one more step forward in the GitHub epic. Another one is also to resolve this bug that we discussed with the shared mailbox and making sure that we can actually break down and see who's addressing those Zendesk tickets.
Right.
So
will there be much work done on just using the GitHub reports and trying to get them looking slightly better and stuff, like the URLs that I just gave you and other little UI stuff?
We can do that. I guess it would become a priority call from yourself. Personally, I think it would make more sense to go and push for getting the tagging feature working correctly. Okay. So then the engine's there and then we can clean up the UI. Because at least if the engine's there, we can release it as a beta and then come back to that other stuff.
And that's fine. What is some of the tags that you want?
Well, we want to be able to get all of them that apply, right? So I mean, all
you want as per our conversation, check bias, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Because the idea is like once we pull in this rules engine, we're going to be running it against the same rule set that we're doing with emails. I mean, understandably, some of them won't be relevant because some are only going to be for emails. But the idea is then later on we can compare the traffic one for one of email versus GitHub for each tag. So that sort of gets that, I guess, business use case that you're chasing at the start. Cool. Alrighty. In terms of the actual specifics, the PBIs that we're looking at are listed below. So the 2 carryovers of GitHub production and also the sysadmin bug. Then we have some playwright, which was carried over. We didn't start that last sprint. And then 2 big ones there are the manual scan for GitHub, as you saw in our review. We have the automatic scan set up. We want to be able to run it over a specific period of time as we start to add these tags on. And then the next one there is addressing a bit of user feedback that we've gained. So that's UI bits and pieces like what you've just suggested there. That's something that we can come under that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. There was also a mention by Hark earlier that you were going to be logging the code coverage, but I don't see it here. And Hark, also in your report, I didn't see that you say to do, fix. It was just missing.
So that playwright feature there is for the code coverage.
That one.
We're going to fix it up in the pipeline.
Oh, okay. All right. I've got it. Okay.
Yeah.
If you can just mention that PBI number in the to-do on the other report before you send that email through.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. AI stats here, I guess just at the end. What's the next thing we're going to be brief. So it's saying ship the GitHub app to production. It was at the top of the goals. I think that's correct. That's the next big, I guess, release item. And then we also have the bug for fixing up the mailboxes. So yeah, I'd say that's correct. Awesome. Alrighty.
Can I just mention one thing? Just that email that you are showing, that was automatically created by Tiger.
Cheetah.
Sorry. Yes. Is that working well for you? Are you seeing any changes that you've been requesting come through, Hark and Luke?
I can answer that. So this is my first time using today. I am running. So if I compare with the manual process of doing the email, I think this is much cooler, much easier. There are a couple of bits and pieces which is manual, like putting in images and stuff. I think Luke's working on it. Luke,
what's an example of the image?
For example, these Copilot stat images, even like all of these screenshots, report views, the portal, we need to copy paste the images.
Can I recommend you call Willow, Michael Q, and Eddie, and just see if there is any optimizations they can do, and if they can, shove it to them.
Sure. Point noted.
Thanks, Hark.
All right.
All good.
Alrighty. Thanks everyone for joining us. As usual, we'll upload it to our EagleEye YouTube channel where you can see the rest of our review and planning sessions. Alrighty. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Toby.
Bye. Thanks, Toby.